You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
Go out for a pass. Okay. Fumble.
Let's see now, Fairfield. Excuse me, boys.
Hey, mister, get out of the way. Yeah, we're playing football.
Surely, but first, that is, if you don't mind.
Huh?
Could you direct me to Yancey Street?
What do you want to know for?
Well, I've never been to that particular neighborhood, and,
How come you're carrying that thing?
Oh, this is the Hercules Mark IV, the finest device ever made for hearth and home.
What is it? Some kind of an invention?
Why, yes, as a matter of fact, a new breakthrough in home hygiene. It removes dust and dirt that you can't see with the naked eye. It comes complete with a laboratory-grade filter and an extension hose.
You mean a vacuum cleaner?
No, nothing so prosaic.
Yeah, it is. And you're a salesman. You better stay away from my place. My dad hates salesmen. Mine too. He'll sock you in the jaw. The last guy that came around...
If you could just point the way to Yancey Street...
Over there, by the park. But don't stop at my house neither. My mom will kick your butt.
Yeah, of course. Okay, bye.
That guy was weird. Yeah, with his little hat. Haha, what a loser.
Well, here we are, Yancey Street. May as well try the first apartment.
Yeah?
Madam, may I have a word?
Who are you?
My name's Dingle. I have something for you.
You a process server?
No, ma'am. I'm here to,
Social worker?
No, not at all. I'd merely,
A cop?
No.
You said you wanted to give me something?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Well, you can come in, I guess, for a minute.
Lovely place you have here.
Yeah, sure it is.
Now then, I have the most amazing thing to show you.
That it?
Yes.
Looks kind of like a big tin can with knobs and wires.
Now, I'll just plug it in. Now, pretend, if you will, that this rug here is your brain, and this dirt...
What are you doing?
This dirt is all the messy thoughts in your head.
You threw dirt on my floor?
Now, watch what happens when I turn on the Hercules Mark IV. All that filth goes away in a flash.
It's better.
See? Suck. Gone.
Get that thing out of my house.
Well, if you wish, but first I'd like to tell you about...
What's going on in there?
It's a crazy man. He spilled dirt all over, and then he...
Say, pal, what are you trying to pull?
I was just demonstrating...
You a salesman?
Well, you might say...
Well, take your crap and get moving.
It's just one question before I go.
What's that?
I don't suppose, that is, you wouldn't care to purchase one of my vacuum cleaners by any chance, huh?
Get out now!
You know, we have easy time payments.
Look at him. I told you, mister. My old man don't like salesmen.
Thank you. Thank you both very much. No, I think I'll just try the next block over.
Well, Callahan, you heard the man. He says he's not gonna pay, so that's that.
Yeah, you want me to pay on a bum call?
Where I come from, a bet's a bet.
You saw the play. The umpire's blind.
Look, you shouldn't have took the bet. I set the odds and you took them. All I want is what's coming to me.
Oh, hello, Mr. Dingle. The usual?
Oh, not quite yet, Mr. O'Toole. Just allow me to sit here and collect my thoughts.
Uniquely American institution known as the Neighborhood Bar. First up is Mr. Anthony O'Toole, proprietor, who waters his drinks like geraniums, but who stands foursquare for peace and quiet and booths for ladies. Then Mr. Joseph Callahan, an unregistered bookie whose entire life is any sporting event with two sides and a set of odds. His idea of a summit meeting is any dialogue between a catcher and a pitcher with more than one man on base. And the citizen who wants his payoff is every anonymous bettor who ever dropped rent money on a horse race, a prize fight, or a floating crap game, and who took out his frustrations and his insolvency on any vulnerable fellow barstool companion within arms and fists' reach. And Mr. Luther Dingle, a vacuum cleaner salesman whose volume of business is roughly that of a valet at a hobo convention. He is a consummate failure at almost everything. But soon, two visitors from outer space will arrive on the scene and alter the destiny of Luther Dingle by leaving him a legacy. In just a moment, a sad-faced punching bag who missed even the caboose of life's gravy train will take a short constitutional into that most unpredictable region, the one we refer to as the Twilight Zone.
And now, back to our story from the Twilight Zone, Mr. Dingle the Strong, starring Tim Kazurinsky, with Stacy Keach as your narrator.
Don't give me that, Callahan. I told you before, I don't pay off on a bum call.
3 umpires called him out. I called him out. 11,000 fans called him out. Final score, Pittsburgh 3, Dodgers nothing. You and me got an even bet. I got the Pirates, hence you owe me $5.
I know a bum call when I see one. That ball was foul when it hit him.
It don't matter what you think you saw.
So instead of an out, it was a foul ball. Who's to say he wouldn't have got on base? So that after the single, he would have scored a run and like that.
You're dreaming.
And furthermore, Callahan, you're a low-down, cheating insult to American bookiedom.
I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to take back that innuendo.
Callahan, I told you once before already.
Told me what?
You start a brawling here again, and I'll fix that mouth of yours so from now on you'll be doing all your drinking through a tube stuck in a vein.
Me? I give you trouble?
You heard me.
Tell it to the #1 welcher of all the western states over here. This guy still owes me money for the fight.
Yeah. Mainly on account of that was a bum call, too. And I don't pay off on bum calls. Hey, Dingle.
Yes?
You remember that fight? The champ's out of the ring, and the ref gives him a long count. Like everybody in the room could have gone out for a beer, engaged in some small talk, and then come back and still sat down before the ref is finished counting. Now, how about that? I'm asking you.
Me?
Yeah, you. How about that?
You're asking Dingle?
I sure am. I'm asking him.
Well, I don't know.
You see the game on television last night?
Well, as a matter of fact, I did watch it. Yes.
There you go. Now we'll settle this.
You talk about bum calls. 9th inning, batters up with 2 down, and we got a man on first and a man on second, and this umpire with no pupils in his eyes calls a foul ball and out. You see that?
I believe I did see that particular play.
Then you tell him. You just tell him what you saw. Yeah, go on.
Exceptional defensive play. Abner Doubleday would have been proud.
Never mind Abner Doubleday. I leave it up to you. Was that a foul ball, or was it an out?
Well,
Yeah?
Come on over to the bar, Dingle, and I'll buy you a drink. Refresh your memory.
I'll pay for it.
Put your money away, both of yous. This one's on the house.
Okay, take your time.
Say it. Say what you saw.
Well, it did appear to me...
Yeah?
It appeared to me that the ball was in safe territory.
Appeared?
Consequently, upon striking the ground and then hitting the batter, the rules would very clearly indicate that the batter was out.
You heard it.
You realize, of course, pal, that you're calling me a liar. Now, I ain't an unreasonable man, so I'll give you one more chance.
All right.
Was that a foul, or was it an out?
Well, as I say, it's my considered opinion.
Here's what I think of your opinion.
Hey, that's enough. Back off.
What happened?
Here, Mr. Dingle. Let me help you out.
Oh yes. Thank you very kindly, Mr. O'Toole.
How come you always gotta hit Dingle? You hit him last week,
You hit him the week before.
A man can only stand so much. I'm tired of this guy contradicting me. And when somebody calls me a liar, there's my honor to consider.
Your honor? You've got nothing but larceny in you, all the way from your arches to where you part your hair. And when you die, they're gonna have to screw you into the ground.
How about that, Dingle? Is that true? I'm crooked? I leave it to you, buddy. Am I crooked?
Well...
Hey, Dingle, just once. Why can't you just be neutral?
Well, that's an interesting question.
Watch what you say, Dingle. I got money riding on this.
You are sure we are invisible?
Beyond any doubt.
This represents a typical gathering place for Earthmen?
From the coordinates, yes.
Did you ever see such primitive-looking creatures?
Typical Earthmen.
And I say that anybody tells me Philadelphia had any right to win the pennant that year is out of their green grass mind.
You're blind as a bat and you're stupid too.
And furthermore, if you're gonna sit there and tell me...
Look at the record books.
What?
I rest my case.
Not entirely typical. The one in the middle with the hat and peculiar neck adornment.
In Earth terminology, I believe it is called a bow tie.
He appears to have suffered physical damage.
At the hands of his fellow humans. Appalling.
This might be the perfect specimen.
Does that compute?
The very one we're looking for.
Silence. I'm receiving his brainwaves now.
Awaiting confirmation.
His name is Dingle. He's an abject coward. He doesn't even possess the minimum musculature for survival on this planet.
Decidedly a sub-physical type.
A genetic throwback?
I believe we have found our subject.
You intend to give him the additional strength?
We have not found anyone weaker, have we?
Negative.
This one will make an exceptional subject. I estimate 11 additional cyclograms atomic weight. That should make him approximately 300 times as strong as the average human.
Yes, that will suffice. Contact the mothership. Tell them we have picked a subject. They may begin observing him in 60 Earth seconds.
Confirmed. Adjust settings.
Check.
And prepare to let him have it.
Look, Dingle, you don't gotta answer this guy at all.
What do you mean?
Just because he don't happen to like the Phillies...
Let him tell me. He's got a brain, don't he?
Of course he does.
You got a point of view, don't you, Dingle? All right, let's get historical. You follow the game, you know the stats. What did you think of the Phillies back in, say, 53? That was a big year.
The Phillies in 1953?
That's right. You tell me, for example, if you think Robin Roberts was one half the pitcher that Labine was that year.
Oh, here we go again.
Well, of the two, I'd be inclined to take... Roberts?
You heard the man.
Buddy, why all the time you gotta fight me? Now, let's run through this one more time. You say that Robin Roberts had more stuff than Clem Labine?
To be perfectly honest and candid, as to the two men, as good as they both were, all things being equal...
So come on already.
Hey, let the man talk.
Who do you pick?
Roberts?
Oh!
I'm telling you guys for the last time, you pull any more rough stuff around here and I ain't gonna let you in that front door. Now look what you've done to this poor little fella.
He's coming around.
How do you feel, Dingle?
Clem Labine was definitely superior.
You see? All I'm doing is helping him see things clear.
Whoa, what was that?
What was what?
I don't know, but I definitely felt something for a second just then.
How you doing? You all right?
Definitely Clem Labine.
All the same, I think you better go on home.
Well, if you insist. But I feel quite well. Quite remarkably well, in point of fact.
Here's your vacuum.
Oh, very kind of you, but I can carry it.
Dingle, do you mind, a word of advice?
Oh, no, not at all.
Look, there's some guys in this world that are, they're going to get punched in the nose no matter who they pick in a ball game, or who they vote for, or the color of the tie they put on in the morning.
I quite agree, O'Toole, though I've always thought polka dots were quite stylish, personally.
Yeah, well, look, you're one of those guys, Dingle. So, you know what I think you ought to do from now on? Don't talk. Just nod. If a guy asks you who you like in the third race, you just smile at him.
Okay.
If somebody asks you who you're voting for, you just nod.
Okay.
And if you're sitting in the bleachers for a doubleheader and you hear some guy yelling for the Dodgers, you don't go yelling for the Pirates. You just leave your seat and you go get a hot dog. You understand, Dingle?
I believe so. Word to the wise and so forth, huh? Very considerate of you, Mr. O'Toole. I'll definitely give the concept further thought.
Yeah.
What's the matter?
Well, that's odd.
What is?
I feel so funny.
Funny how?
Oh, nothing. I'm sure I'm fine now, but for a moment there, it was as if something passed over me or through me, and I heard a high-pitched sound. Very odd. Did anyone else hear it?
I can't say as I did.
What's he talking about now?
Oh, well. No, what do you suppose caused that?
Caused what?
Well, this vacuum cleaner feels light as a feather. Not that the machine isn't light. It happens to be one of the lightest on the market.
Oh, give me a break.
No, it's a handy-dandy Jim Cracker A1 piece of merchandise, guaranteed to lighten the labor and lengthen the life of that wonderful partner in the American home, the housewife. But I've never noticed it was this light.
Hey, see you, Dingle.
What the?
Did you see that? The door fell off.
Hey, look, Dingle. I mean, with all your faults, despite the fact that you cost me in Band-Aids what I normally would have to put out for the water bill, you've always been a nice type fella who never gave me no trouble. But why all of a sudden do you have to go wrecking my front door?
Oh, believe me, Mr. O'Toole, I am mystified. I am absolutely mystified. The door just seemed to come off its hinges when I grasped the knob very lightly in my hand, my right hand. Well, I'll just set it here against the wall, and you can do whatever you need to make it better again. I bid you good day, gentlemen.
Jeez, O'Toole. What kind of drink did you pour him anyway?
Look it, there's that dweeb again.
Boys?
Hey, mister, why'd you come back, huh? I told you my dad had socked you in the jaw, and he did. Yeah, you're really asking for it.
Quite right. Only this time, I'm not going to Yancey Street, merely to that park bench to sit in the sun and collect my thoughts.
He talks funny. I got an idea. Give me the ball. You're gonna throw it at him? Yeah, knock his dumb head off. Bet you can't do it. Watch this. Oh, jeez.
No, boys. That's not the best of all possible manners, is it?
Pretty funny. Go peddle your vacuum cleaners, you creep, and throw the ball back.
Think you can catch it?
He can't even throw it.
Oh, is that so? All right. Go back for a pass.
Sure.
Let me see now. How does one grip a football? Yes, I think I've got it. Ready? Here goes.
Whoa, look at it go! Right at that building. It's gonna hit the window.
Here's your lunch, Arthur. You want some soup with it?
Just let me read my paper here, okay, Lydia? I gotta go back to work.
You're always at work. Don't you like being home no more?
Too hot. The air conditioner don't work.
If you tell the super to fix it.
What the heck was that?
I don't know, Arthur, but you don't have to tell the super nothing, 'cause now we got a nice cross ventilation all the way to the next apartment.
Hey, mister, where'd you learn to throw a ball like that?
I really don't know. I don't know what's happening to me. What in the world is happening to me?
Get those kids! Down there! They broke my window.
We better get out of here.
Yes.
Out of the street!
A taxi! Over here!
Where to?
I don't care. Anywhere. I'm in a hurry.
Well, get in, pal.
Oh yes, of course.
Hey, you tore my back door off. What'd you do that for?
Oh, believe me, this is as much a mystery to me as it is to you. I'll leave it right here so you can fix it.
Now, how am I gonna do that?
Just let me catch my breath.
Hey, quit leaning on my car. You're tipping it over. Help! Somebody get me out of here!
Oh, dear me. You're pinned under the steering wheel, aren't you? Give me a second. There. You can get out now.
Did you see that? He lifted the car and turned it over.
With one hand!
I can't believe my eyes.
Most amazing thing I ever saw.
Who is he?
He's a hero.
What's your name?
No name. I mean, I'm nobody. Nobody at all. Excuse me, miss?
Yes?
May I share your park bench?
Yes, of course. It's not mine. I only come here in the afternoons.
With your charming baby, I see.
Oh, he's not mine either. I'm just the nanny. They want him to have his time in the park. You know how it is.
Oh, how perfectly lovely. Well, I don't, actually. No, that is.
You're not married?
Never.
Really? That's hard to believe. A nice, normal man like you.
Why, thank you.
For what?
Well, no woman's ever said that to me before, that, I'm normal.
You're joking.
I wish I were. I'm not acquainted with many women, hardly any, in fact, on the personal level. Gosh, I hope you don't mind chatting like this.
Not at all. I spend a lot of time here taking care of the baby.
Oh, cute little fella. I know what he wants.
You do?
Well, look up.
Where?
That tree branch above your head, there's an apple on it, and the baby sees that.
Really?
Oh, I'm sure of it. Coochie coochie coo. Aren't you the cutest little fella? Look, I don't want you to think I'm a masher or anything. I'm certainly not a masher, but I wonder if you'd mind answering a question.
That depends.
Well, what I mean is, looking at me, would you say, at least upon a perfunctory, cursory, very first surveil, would I appear to be abnormal in any way?
Not at all.
Oh, thank you.
Unless you plan to use that in the park.
Oh, that. Up to a few hours ago, I sold those things. Newfangled vacuum cleaners. Or at least I went through the motions. I was miserably bad as a salesman, just miserable. Would you believe it? Last week I made exactly 89 cents in commission. And that was for an attachment, an upholstery nozzle, and I sold it to a drunk who kept insisting it was a divining rod for alcohol.
Is that why you stopped?
Well, there were other factors. I expected to be fired today anyway, but, that's the least of my worries now. A few minutes ago, people were chasing me.
Why?
Well, that's just it, because they thought I was abnormal. Now, I ask you, would you be interested in hearing the source of my worries?
Go ahead.
Well, that apple, for instance, the baby wants it, but you can't reach it, can you?
No.
Not even if you put the baby down and stood up on the bench.
I couldn't put the baby down.
Oh, precisely. But what if I were to give you a hand?
I'm not sure
Well, see, this bench weighs, I'd say 100, 150 pounds, and you're no more than 110 to 115.
Well, 125.
Well, what if I were to stand, reach down, pick up the bench by one of its legs, and lift it straight up into the air like this?
Please, put us down!
So that you could reach the apple, and you wouldn't even have to disturb the baby. Go on, reach over and take it. And then I put the bench down with you and the baby on it, right back down on the ground, as gentle as it can be. There. Would you say that's abnormal?
How did you...
Hey, man, could you do that again?
Whoa, I'm not sure.
I got my camera with me. I sure would like to get a shot of that. Is it a magic trick, like in Las Vegas? You a magician or what?
No, it's just something that I've discovered I can do. Very recently, as a matter of fact. You see,
I
Let me just get the camera set up.
But the young lady's gone now. There's no point in lifting the bench with no one on it, is there?
Well, then do something else.
Or like what?
Anything.
Well, I don't know.
Well, at least let me take your picture. Stand right there by that big rock.
Oh, here? Oh, well, I suppose one picture wouldn't do any harm. Shall I take my hat off? Of course, then the sun would be in my eyes when I have to squint.
Well, can you show me your muscles or something?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't believe I have any muscles to speak of.
Oh, yeah, right. Say cheese.
Oh, wait, now the rock is in the way. Perhaps if you stand a few feet to your left?
And then the sun will be right in the lens.
Oh, in that case, I better move the rock. May I? Hold on 1 second.
Whoa! You lifted it just like that. It must weigh a ton.
There, young man. Is that better? I suppose you can snap my picture now if you insist.
Yeah, that's great.
Are you sure this is my good side?
Couple more. Oh, right. Wait till my editor sees this.
For the love of Mike, did you see this?
What do you got there, Callahan?
It's Dingle on the front page of the Daily Bulletin.
Let me see that. Hercules? No, it's Luther Dingle, 20th century Samson.
Good gravy, there's his picture. Picking up a giant rock. You mean this is our Dingle?
None other, by the looks of it.
And this is where I spend my afternoons, when I'm not working, of course.
Dingle, my old pal.
Hey, have a seat, buddy boy.
Mr. Luther Dingle, his favorite neighborhood pub. A regular guy who leads a regular life when he's not busy performing miracles. This is Jason Abernathy, and I'm here to bring you the full story on my eyeball news report.
So, who wants a drink? Step right up.
Are you his friend?
What's he really like?
What was his first feat of strength?
Did you always know he was special?
What's his secret?
Well, now, Mr. Dingle, Luther, is my #1 customer. Never goes to any other establishment. Ain't that right, boys?
That's the truth. I knew he had it in him. We was pals all the way back to grade school.
All right, who's next? Line up.
Mr. Dingle, if what I hear is true, do you realize how much money you could make on a tour with my international circus?
A circus, eh? I don't know.
Vegas, Atlantic City, Branson, Missouri.
Hey, don't listen to her.
Hey, Dingle, your future's in television. You're the walking, talking embodiment of every American male's wish fulfillment. You're John Q. Citizen, you're Babbitt, you're Tom, Dick, and Harry. We'll develop a sitcom around those values. A spin-off. After several guest spots, of course.
Well, I'm just not sure.
All right, well, how about an infomercial? A simple across-the-board address by you with examples of your physical prowess followed by product endorsements. It's a natural for breakfast cereals, vitamin pills, anything at all.
You mean like Jack LaLanne, the juice man, that sort of thing?
Forget it, Dingle. I keep telling you, boxing is a piece of cake. You line up with me, I'll get you a couple of real easy setups, and inside of 8 months, I'll have you fighting for the World Championship. Or if you want to go with the WWF instead.
All right, everybody. We're going on the air live in just a few seconds. Would the people around Mr. Dingle get out of the way, please?
I don't want to. Okay, on the air in 4, 3, 2, 1, and...
Hello, friends. Jason Abernathy here. Our unusual subject today is Mr. Luther Dingle, who, if what actual onlookers say is true, is the world's strongest man.
Oh, well, I know.
Mr. Dingle, would you give us an example of this fantastic, allegedly fantastic strength of yours?
Well, I'd be happy to. Mr. O'Toole, is it all right? You know, the thing we discussed?
What, are you kidding? I ain't done this much business since, well, I don't know when. Be my guest, Dingle.
Well...
Yes?
I'll start off with something simple. See this wall? Solid plaster. Supported, I believe, by wooden studs. I'll make a small X with my finger here and...
You saw it! Mr. Dingle has just punched a hole through a solid wall with his bare fist.
Now, for my second demonstration... Oh, dear, let me see. You've heard of karate. I suppose I could simply just line up the edge of my hand with the surface of this table, my open hand, mind you, and with a single blow...
Fantastic.
That's amazing! Would you call it mind over matter, Mr. Dingle?
Oh, no, I'd call it an example of matter over matter. You see, it doesn't matter what's on my mind, even if it's nothing at all.
Okay, Dingle. You just don't go breaking all my tables in half, okay? Jeez.
Hey, better sit down, buddy. Have yourself a drink. Hey, you want my seat?
Not yet. I feel fine. Splendid. These bar stools are bolted down, aren't they? If, let's say, I wanted to move one a few inches...
See that? He ripped it right off the floor and he didn't even break a sweat. What a guy. Go on. Take my stool if you want.
Stand up.
Sure, why?
If you please.
Why are you looking at me like that? Oh, no. Wait a minute, Dingle. Ain't you ever heard of bygones being bygones? Hey, put me down.
I see it, but I don't believe it. Ladies and gentlemen, the man at the bar is 160 or 70 pounds, and Dingle is lifting him like a rag doll, twirling him over his head with one hand.
Oh, my aching back. That ain't funny.
There. Now, that didn't hurt too much, did it, pal? You're good as new. Well, almost. Gonna give you a hand up, pal?
Mr. Dingle, you're my hero.
He can do anything.
Well, better not pick a fight with that fellow.
Had enough?
Most inferior. We give him the strength of 300 men, and he uses it for petty exhibitions.
What shall we do about it?
Give him 20 or 30 seconds more, and then remove the power.
Excellent. Then I think we'd best be off. 3 more planets on the itinerary. One is particularly interesting. Contains only females.
Set the ray for cancellation.
Check.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for my next feat, I think I'll lift this entire building.
Whoa!
Well, at least the ceiling, and hence all the floors above it. Step aside, everyone.
I don't know if we have a clear shot of this, but he's standing on his tiptoes, extending his fingers to the ceiling.
Here we go. Let me try that again. I can't seem to...
Something's wrong.
No, I just felt strange there for a second. Let me try another bar stool. Remember, they're bolted to the floor. One finger... no, maybe 2 fingers.
He's a fake.
No waiters this time. It was a trick.
What's the matter, Mr. Dingle?
The wall, then. I'll punch another hole right about here. Ow!
Well, apparently we've all been the victims of a charlatan. Cut. Are we still alive?
Come on, let's get out of here.
That was a trick, that's all.
Just some guy looking to get his picture in the paper.
All right, leave off with poor Dingle here. Get out of here. Hey, come on, Dingle. Sit down. I'll get you some iodine for those knuckles.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have the station's apologies. We didn't realize that these were merely stage illusions.
And, okay, we're off the air. That's a wrap.
Off the air for good, I think. Let's go. So long, Samson.
Time to go.
Yes.
Wait, who are they?
Hello, boys.
Where are you 2 from?
Venus, how about you?
Mars. Conducting your own experiments?
Yes. And you?
Sudden introduction of strength to subnormal Earthmen. What is your experiment?
Sudden introduction of enhanced intelligence. Find any interesting subjects?
That one over there, referred to as Dingle. He is certainly subphysical, maybe submental too.
A likely subject. Give him the intelligence quota, Ray.
How much?
Oh, we'll make him approximately 500 times more intelligent than the average human.
What was that?
Hey, Dingle, who do you like in the doubleheader tonight?
Well, in this case, the laws of probability are interspersed with the finagling laws of chance, so through a process of calculus and a subdivision of grapple-based physical motivating and a divisional annotating, in this case, of course, using the two X factors as represented by the teams, the final score must of necessity be 5-3 Milwaukee in the opener, 6-0 Dodgers in the nightcap.
Yeah, what did he say?
Search me, Callahan. Let's have another drink.
It's on the house.
It is apparently on an advanced mathematical plan that the entire quantum theory of space and time relativity must, of necessity, be equated with the parallelian law of definitive numerical dialectical algebraic, and it can further be notated.
Exit Mr. Luther Dingle, former vacuum cleaner salesman, strongest man on Earth, and now mental giant. These latter powers will very likely be eliminated before too long. But Mr. Dingle has an appeal to extraterrestrial note-takers as well as to frustrated and insolvent bet losers. Offhand, I'd say that he's in for a great many extremely odd periods, simply because there are so many inhabited planets to send down observers, and also because, of course, Mr. Dingle lives his life with one foot planted firmly in the Twilight Zone. You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension, a dimension of sound, a dimension of sight, a dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Get your hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
Pretzels.
Popcorn.
Take a chance. 3 balls for $1.
Cotton candy.
Knock one over, win a prize. How about it, folks?
Can we?
No, thanks. So easy, my own mother could do it.
Look at all the stuffed animals.
Let's go.
Throw a dart, break a balloon.
Not this one.
Aw, you're no fun.
There's better places.
Hey, winner, this is your lucky night.
Where's Freddy?
Taking a break. You wouldn't want to play, would you?
What do we have to do?
Shoot at the bullseye. Think you can handle it, soldier?
He was in the infantry.
Yeah?
What do we win?
Take your pick. Plastic Cupid dolls, pandas from China.
I want the pink one.
You got some taste.
How much?
How much you want to spend?
Sign says $1.
Ask for kids' prizes. Wax lips, pencil on a string. You have to work your way up.
Freddy gives me 3 games for 2.
Yeah, 50 BBs each. Never knock out the bullseye that way.
How much for a full load?
Say 3.
Forget it.
2.
We're leaving.
All right. 100 shots for, let me see, a penny apiece.
I get to pick my own machine gun.
Man knows what he's doing.
Ready?
Hey, how about a side bet? 5 will get you 10.
You hustling me?
Come on, show your girl what you're made of.
She already knows.
Can't blame a guy for trying.
Watch this. There. How's that?
Wait a minute. You didn't get it all.
What are you talking about?
There's one little piece of the bullseye hanging. See?
What are you trying to pull?
Well, I mean, it could be, if you squint one eye.
Evening, folks. Everybody having fun?
Oh, hi, Freddy.
You gonna give me my bear or not?
What's the ruckus?
Just having a friendly discussion.
He doesn't want to pay off.
We won fair and square.
A slight disagreement is all.
Get your hand off that teddy bear.
Give the young lady her prize. We don't want any trouble here.
There you go, pal. Semper Fi.
I'm not your pal.
I'm surprised at you, Wally. That's not the way. First, you give him a few wins, build up the payout, then you sock it to him. Remember?
I got a lot on my mind.
Wally, you used to be a good con, but lately...
Tell me something, Freddy.
You can keep what you made while I was gone, for old time's sake.
Listen to me. You see those two guys over by the funhouse? White ties, pointed shoes. Don't turn your head.
What about them?
They, by any chance, been hanging around tonight?
Well, you know those monks?
Do me a favor. Anybody asks, you haven't seen me. I hopped the steamer to Timbuktu. Now, if you don't mind, I'll just fast forward on out of here.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll think of something. Go through the back and down to the beach.
Thanks, Freddie. I owe you.
You sure do, boy. But this time, I don't think I'm gonna collect.
Introducing Wally Beecher, once promising con artist and small-time hustler. But of late, he couldn't talk his own grandmother out of ice cream money. Mr. Beecher has become what's commonly known as a loser. He's off his game and down on his luck because somewhere along the line, he lost faith in the con and in himself. And tonight, the biggest debt of his life is about to come due. The reaction is panic, thanks to the certain knowledge that his credit is run out and there is no place left to hide. But if he plays the odds just right, there might be one last unexpected chance to start over. If not in this world, then in the Twilight Zone.
Carlton Motel. Yeah, I got rooms by the day, the week, or the month. By the hour. You have to leave a cleanup deposit. Hey, same to you, buddy. Hey, Mr. B.
Any calls tonight?
Nope.
Not even my brother?
Nah, I've been quiet as a tomb.
Oh, don't say that.
Here's your mail. Maybe that check you've been waiting on?
No such luck. Anybody ask for me?
Afraid not.
Good, that's good. Jack, I want you to listen real close. It's important.
Yeah?
If somebody wants to know where I'm at, I already checked out.
Anything you say, Mr. B. Only I sure need that rent before you do check out.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. Just say I did.
Got it, but about that rent, it's Thursday already.
You're the first on my list.
The manager won't let me carry you much longer.
I got some deals going. One of them's bound to come in. Just remember what I told you, especially if they're wearing alligator shoes. You call my room with a heads up, okay?
Sure thing, Mr. B. Forget your key? I got an extra.
That car across the street. That black one?
The Crown Vic?
How long's it been there?
I can't really say.
They're watching.
What's that?
Is there another way out of here?
Yeah, sure. In back.
Remember what I told you? I'm not here, never was. Raj, it's me, Wally. You got a line on the 5th at Belmont? Yeah, tomorrow. The number 9 horse. Yeah, he's still 40 to 1? Put me down for 100, straight across. I understand. No more credit, but this one's a lot. I'm not conning you. The guy I know clocked him in the workout. Raj, come on, Raj. A C note, that's all I'm asking. Wait, don't... Rosie? You bet it is. How's your kid? Good. Hey, listen, Rosie, remember that business opportunity I told you about? Yeah, that's the one. The Feedback drive-thru. World's best deep-fried burgers. Well, they're getting ready to open their first store. Me, I got my personal life savings riding on it. So if you want to get in on the ground floor... he is? Oh, jeez, that's terrible. Hey, I could let you post-date a check if you... Your life insurance policy, too? Yeah, I understand. Hey, hold on, Rosie. I got another call. Great talking to you, hon. Come on. Come on.
This is Frank Beecher. Sorry, but we're closed for business. Please leave a message after the tone.
Frank, I don't blame you for not returning my calls. I know what you're thinking, but I swear, it's not like before. I need to talk to you bad. I hate this, believe me. If there was another way, I got a situation here. Frankie, I'm your kid brother. I don't have anybody else. Call me at the Carlton, please. I'm begging you, Frank. I'm begging you. Who is it? Yeah, I'm in here. So what? I don't care anymore. Bring it on. Just bring it. Huh?
Wally!
Frank? Frank?
Give me a hand, kid.
What'd they do?
Funny thing happened on the way home.
Sit on the bed. Jeez, Frank. Frank, they really worked you over.
It's okay. The nose wasn't straight to begin with, huh?
A couple of guys in a black Crown Vic?
No. Cadillac. Two gentlemen with scars and pinky rings. They made quite an impression on my head.
I'll get some towels. You're bleeding bad.
This is a first.
Take it easy, Frank.
I was always the one who took care of you. You got in a fight at school or fell off your bike.
Let me wipe your face.
Ow! I'll do it. You order a steak from room service. Blood rare. Best thing for a black eye.
Hold this against your head.
They have room service here? See, you moved up in the world.
Them two guys, did you get a name?
Nah, they didn't talk much. But they must be from Western Union, and I'm the message.
Those punks. I'll take it out of their skins.
You should have called me.
I did.
Sorry, I'm out of town.
It's all my fault.
Now, what did you do to rattle their cages?
Well, what do you think? Got myself in hock up to my eyeballs when I couldn't make the vig.
I've got money.
It's too late for that now. Even if I do pay up, they'll leave me sleeping with the fishes. I am stupid, so stupid.
Sounds like it's time for Mrs. Pierce.
Who?
An old lady lived down the hall. Remember? In the building where we grew up.
What about her?
Every time you got in trouble and you didn't want Dad to find out, what'd you do, huh? You came to me, right?
Yeah, you find a way to fix it. I was always a loser, even back then.
Yeah, you were little, that's all. You didn't know any better.
What's Mrs. Pierce got to do with it?
She was the one who took care of things, not me.
What do you mean?
Oh, when anyone in the neighborhood had a problem, Mrs. Pierce made it right.
Don't give me that. It was you, Frankie. When I didn't do my chores or I got in a jam.
Nah, I handled some of it, but there was some I couldn't. Like the time Vincent Cazzatori, he wanted to fight you. Or you lost the raffle tickets and the principal called the police.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was Mrs. Pierce who got you out of it. She didn't want people to know, but she was the one.
How?
You tell me. I'd tell her, and then she'd pray to her own special saints, I guess. Someone came to her with a problem, she'd make everything right. Yeah, you could count on it.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it sure is. But it's true. Hey, where's the phone?
Oh, who are you gonna call? The cops won't do nothing.
Yeah, hello, information. You have a listing for Mrs. Arlene Pierce on Weber Street.
She probably is dead by now.
Yeah, hold on. Where's pencil?
Here.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, operator.
It's too late, I tell ya.
She moved, but I got it.
All right. What have I got to lose? 10 to 1, she won't even remember me.
Come on, let me.
Not this time. Give me the phone, Frank.
And I'm afraid it don't work that way.
Why not?
Hello? Yeah, may I please speak to Mrs. Pierce? An old friend from Weber Street. My name's Frank Beecher. It's been years, but... Oh, hello, Milo. Of course. Oh, she is? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. Look, I hope she feels better soon. No message. Just that her friends wish her the best. I'm really sorry to have bothered you.
Sick, huh?
She had a stroke. She'd been in a coma since last week.
Well, that was a stupid idea anyway. Hey, easy, Frank.
Get me the sink, kid.
Can you stand up? Here, let me help you.
It was the pointed shoes that did it.
Frank, you're coughing up blood.
It feels like something's broken inside.
I gotta get you to emergency. Quick.
Not now. Those goons who sent the candygram, they'll want to know if you got the message.
Oh, I got it. And I got a message for them. They want to clean my clock? Let them. I'm not gonna let you die here. Come on.
You better lay low, kid.
They're gone. I heard them drive off. I got my car in the alley. For once in my stupid life, I'm gonna do something for you.
So what do you think? Nice car, huh?
It's really cool, Wally. Are you sure it's okay with your dad?
Sure. He lets me drive it all the time.
I wish you'd slow down.
Chicken?
You're halfway off the road.
I know what I'm doing. I got my license next month. So, baby, where to?
Just don't get us in a wreck.
How about down by the boardwalk?
I have to be home by 10 o'clock.
What? I was gonna show you a good time. Walk on the beach, have a couple drinks. I know a guy who'll get me some booze. Name's Freddie. You know Freddie? I'll introduce you.
Careful!
Hey! Look where you drive it, jerk!
Wally, will you please slow down?
Too fast for you?
That cop wants you to pull over.
He don't mean me.
Stop!
What for?
Let me out.
At this time of night?
I mean it. Now.
Oh, okay, dollface. That's the way you want it. What did I tell you? He wasn't following me. Chasing some punks. He'll get him, too. See, the cops around here, they drive Ford Crown Vics with the F-150 engine, all souped up. I could probably take him. I got more horses under the hood. Hey, where are you going?
Bye, Wally.
What's the matter?
I'm walking home. It's safer that way. Thanks for a lovely evening.
Are you nuts? Get back in the car.
Maybe I'll see you around. When you get your license.
Oh, man, what are you doing here?
You shouldn't have taken the car.
Mind your own business, Frank.
Dad won't like it.
So? I'll bring it back before he gets home.
He'll find out.
What's he gonna do? Take it out of my hide? I'm too old. He can't hurt me anymore.
Maybe not, but it'll hurt him.
Big deal.
Move over.
What for?
I'm driving.
What about your car?
I'll come back for it.
And how are you gonna do that?
Walk if I have to. Now move.
Go chase yourself.
What did you say to me?
Let go of the door.
Give me the keys.
No way.
I said give me the keys.
Back off, Frank. I'm warning you. What'd you do that for?
Slide over.
You always looked after me, didn't you? No matter how bad I screwed up. Come on, move!
Hey, slow down, hotshot.
You okay back there?
You're going too fast.
Don't you worry, Frank. Only a couple more miles. I'll get you to County General. It's the last thing I do.
Wally, can you close the window?
It is closed.
Well, then turn on a heater. It's cold. It's so cold.
Oh, jeez. Hang on, Frank. The hospital's coming up.
All patients in need of emergency care, please sign in. You will be treated in order of arrival.
I told you we'd make it.
My legs, they won't work right.
It's all right. I got you.
Please have ID, proof of insurance, or payment in form of cash or credit card.
Get me to the counter.
I'll take care of it. Can I get some help here?
You have to wait your turn.
I can't wait. My brother needs a doctor. Fast.
Sign in at the window.
And then what? Take a number?
I have to sit down.
Here's a bench. Put your feet up. That's it. Ah, for crying out loud. Wait here, Frank. I'll be right back.
But I don't have any insurance.
Then I'll need a cash deposit.
I can give it to you tomorrow.
It's hospital policy, payment in advance.
But I need the treatment now.
Step aside, please.
Just like that? Are you going to throw me out?
Someone will check your vital signs. You'll receive basic care if the condition is life-threatening. Next.
I got his wallet and ID. Here's his credit card.
Has he signed in yet?
He can't. He was coughing up blood before.
Then sign for him.
What are you trying to pull?
There's a pencil on the clipboard.
There. That good enough for you?
Have a seat.
Blood. That's disgusting.
Oh, jeez, Frank! Hey, I need some help right now!
Somebody clean it up.
Hey, mister, you can't do that. Those gurneys are hospital property.
Here, get up on this stretcher thing.
I'll try. You have to wait your turn.
Back off.
Sir, you can't go in the main hospital.
Out of my way.
I need cleanup, quickly.
What's this?
Something's broke inside. He's all messed up.
Massive internal hemorrhaging. I'll take him.
You gotta do something fast. You just gotta.
Where's a chart?
There isn't any.
Who are you?
His brother.
Wait outside.
Oh, no.
Someone see this man out? There's a waiting area at the end of the hall. We'll let you know.
Frank! Frank!
Cleanup in emergency. Interns to receiving.
Excuse me. Nurse?
Yes?
The guy I brought in? He's gonna be okay, isn't he?
The nurse's station will have that information around the corner to your left.
These jokers don't even know which end is up. Well, they better figure it out. Oh, Frank. Frank, what am I supposed to do now?
Wally?
Huh? Who are...
It is you.
Milo?
I'd know that face anywhere. How many years has it been?
Oh, too many. I can't believe it. What are you doing here?
It's my aunt. My sister's inside with her.
Jeannie's here?
She comes by when she can. Old Wally. It's been a long time since Weber Street.
Oh, sure has. You mean your aunt's in here? How's she holding up?
Not so good.
Yeah, I heard. That's tough. A stroke, wasn't it?
Yeah, we take turns sitting with her. My dad comes as much as he can. It's hard since Mom passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear it.
Arlene's the only family he's got besides us. So, where'd you move to?
Different places. I decided to come back for a while, regroup. You know something? I thought there was a big, wide world out there, but take it from me, it ain't all that.
I talked to your brother. We see him around sometimes. He's doing well.
Milo, would you mind if I go in?
She won't know you're there.
That's okay. She's a nice lady. I like to pay my respects.
Okay, go ahead then.
Come in.
Hi, Jeannie.
Wally?
Hey, how you doing?
Can I help you?
We're looking for a guy.
Friend of ours. Fell down, hurt himself.
Check emergency.
No such luck.
Well, this is all private rooms here.
He's telling the truth. Says right on the door. Pierce.
What's that spell?
Purse.
Some name.
A little guy was with him. Looks like a weasel.
I haven't seen him either.
You sound mighty sure.
Tell you what, if I do, you'll be the first to know. Now, do you mind keeping your voices down? There's a sick lady inside.
Have a nice day.
It's nighttime, Sal.
Yeah, that too. You know, it don't make sense. They gotta be here. We've seen them come in.
I'll check the rooms. You watch the lobby.
Sure thing.
And call the boss. Tell him we got it covered.
The fabulous Beecher boys.
One thing's for sure. They walked in, but they ain't walking out.
I don't believe it.
Hello, Jeannie. Been too long. How is she?
As well as can be expected.
What does that mean?
There isn't a lot of hope. They asked us if we want to pull the plug.
Oh, don't do it.
That's what Dad says.
I mean, you never know. Things can change.
I suppose so.
But you're looking awful nice.
Wally, don't start.
Listen, Jeannie, can I talk to her?
Why? She can't hear you.
Just the same, I wanted to thank her for being so nice.
You barely knew her.
Yes, I did. In a way.
Well, okay. For a minute. I was going to take a break anyway.
Well, thanks, Jenny.
Wally?
Yeah?
It was nice of you to come by.
Oh, no problem. And don't forget to take care of yourself. You can go home and get some sleep. Let Milo cover for you.
Maybe I'll do that. Bye.
Goodbye, Jenny. Mrs. Pierce? Can you hear me? I hope so. Because I got something to say. It's Wally. I used to live in the building down the hall. Me and my dad and my brother. You remember Frank? He always did good in school. Not me, though. I was a different story. A real dumb kid. I started messing up, getting into trouble. And Frank, he looked after me. Then when I moved out, he wasn't there anymore. Before, he always saved my skin. Except it was you. Oh, it sounds nuts, but my brother wouldn't lie. If I know one thing, I know that. I don't understand how, but the whole time, it was you. Well, since then, I pulled some bad stuff, and tonight it all came down. I can't handle it on my own. I would if I could, but now it's just flat out too late. Some guys want my head on a platter, and there's nothing I can do about it, not this time. So I guess what I'm saying is, I need help. I never needed it so bad my whole life. I sure hope you can hear me. I never asked you for nothing. And I'm not asking now. It's my problem. For once, I'm gonna take my medicine. But this isn't about me. It's about my brother.
Hey, Frankie! Watch me ride my bike! Look! No hands!
That's great, Wally.
Frankie, I did all my chores. You think Dad will take us someplace tonight?
If he doesn't, I will. Want to get pizza at the corner?
Can we?
I don't see why not.
Gee, Frankie, you're the greatest brother I ever had.
Get your jacket, let's go.
I wanted to be just like him when I grew up. I had my shot, but it wasn't in the cards. But it ain't right that Frank should suffer. They took it out on him so I'd get the message. Those punks. Well, I got it, only it's too late now. Look, Mrs. Pierce.
Yes, huh? Yes?
Oh, you can hear me?
Is that little Wallace?
Mrs. Pierce, thank God.
Is anything wrong?
Yes, ma'am. I hate to ask you, but...
Say it, boy.
Frank's hurt bad. If you don't pray for him, He's a goner for sure. You can't let him die. You can't let him die, please. I'm begging you.
Very well, honey.
What?
You can go now, Wally.
What? What do you mean? He's gonna be okay? He's gonna be alright?
Why, he already is.
What? Just like that? Oh, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. You know what this means.
You run along, dear. He's waiting for you.
Frankie, you hear that? You're gonna make it. Nurse, where's Frank Beecher?
Beecher. Oh, yeah. He was just released from IC. They're moving him to 1101.
Thanks, dollface. Frankie?
Hey, kid.
You okay? You look like you are.
Oh, yeah, it only hurts when I laugh.
Well, you sure had me worried for a while.
Yeah, I don't know, must have been something I ate.
Frankie, I am so sorry.
For what?
It was my fault. We both know it, but I went and I took care of everything.
Oh, is that right? What did you do?
I talked to Mrs. Pierce.
Wally.
Now, don't get mad. You're not going to believe this, but I ran into Milo, her nephew. It's the same hospital she's in. Can you beat that? And while I was talking to her...
Wait, I thought she was in a coma.
Well, she was, but she come out of it. Anyway, I asked if she could help. She turned her head, looked right at me. Next thing you know... I'm telling you.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Well, it did this time. I told her what went down tonight, and she must have prayed like she used to, just the way you said. And, long story short, everything's gonna be okay.
That's impossible.
Well, look at you. It's like I said.
Wally, you can't ask for yourself. You have to ask for someone else. That's the secret. Otherwise, it doesn't work. That's why I went to her when you were a kid.
But Frank, I didn't ask for myself. I asked her to let you live.
You couldn't have known that. I didn't teach you.
You taught me good, Frank. Only I'm kind of slow. It took me all of this time, but I finally got it. And now, it's over.
No, not for you. Here, Wally, look in my wallet. Right? I got a few $100. I want you to take it, get as far away from those strong-arm types as you can. Then call me, and I'll try to figure something. Maybe I can help you cut a deal.
Maybe nothing. You don't have to do a thing. Tonight's the last time I'm running out. Whatever they want to do, let them. The slate will be wiped clean. They'll never bother you again.
Wally, now listen good. Those guys in the Cadillac are bad news. I'll try to buy you some time, long enough to talk to the DA, and we can
Forget it. This time I'm standing up for myself.
Don't be a fool.
I'm not. I used to be, but not anymore. I'm ready. It's been a long time coming. And Frank?
Yeah?
If I don't see you again, thanks. Thanks for everything. I hope I paid you back a little.
Kid.
Don't worry about me. I'll be better off. Just think, I won't ever have to run scared again.
Well, Weasel.
I figured you'd show up.
Let's go, little man.
Anything you say.
Get in the elevator.
Do it here if you want. Take it out of my skull. Just leave my brother be.
Yeah, the boss wants to have a little talk first. The limousine's waiting.
Which floor, mister?
The parking lot.
I'll get the button for you.
Hey, what'd you pull the alarm for?
You're not going to parking.
Say, what's the ruckus?
Federal agent, hands out of your pockets. Mr. Beecher, step over here next to me.
Glad to.
You got the wrong guy.
Don't move. You're under arrest.
What's the charge?
You take your pick. Racketeering, extortion.
You know who I work for?
We have Mr. Sacchetti in custody.
You're making a king-size mistake. Pull that button, we go down to the lobby. The door is open and a friend of mine's gonna be standing there. And he don't like feds.
Some friends of mine already picked up your partner.
For what?
Kicking a coffee machine.
I saw you in front of the motel, right?
You've been under surveillance.
Sure. The V8 F-150. I should have known. The heat always drives Crown Vics.
Do me a favor, Mr. Beecher. Pat him down.
My pleasure. Ooh, a 38 Smith & Wesson. Awful heavy. It could wreck that suit of yours.
Get your hands off the merchandise. Hey!
Freeze!
You, G-Men, drop your piece, or Sonny Boy here gets it.
Don't listen to him.
You'll never get out of the building. There's a police line outside.
Where did they see my little insurance policy? Push the button, now.
You won't make it.
Throw your piece on the floor. Now push P level, or the weasel's a dead man.
What's new, big boy? How'd you like that, huh? This one's for my brother. And this one, and so's this one. And this one too, you dirty...
That's enough. Stop. You've won. It's over. You've won.
Milo, Jeannie, I just wanted to tell you not to worry.
Oh, Wally.
What are you crying for? She's gonna be all right now.
He doesn't know.
Know what? She's got a new lease on life, and she's not the only one.
Come on, Milo. We have to sign the papers.
Well, I could tell by the way she looked at me.
Who are you talking about?
Your aunt. I knew she was gonna make it.
That's not very funny.
What's not? I'm telling you, she said everything was gonna be all right. She knew. That's because she was praying the way she used to.
Wally, please.
She couldn't have. She never came out of it.
What?
The doctor said there were no brainwaves for days. Not at all.
But...
One thing was strange, though. When she passed, she had a really unusual expression on her face. It was peaceful, almost happy. Like, what's the saying? God's in his heaven and all's right with the world.
Wally Beecher, once promising con artist and small-time hustler, commonly known as a loser. Despite the odds, he asked for another deck and a fresh deal. It's not easy to end up a winner when you're down that far, but it happens sometimes, thanks to a very special gift, one that must be given as well as received. It goes by various names, the most familiar of which is love. Look for it, and you just might find it here and in the Twilight Zone. You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are those of imagination. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
He's dead. Get him down.
Yes, Captain.
Clemens, what the devil do you think you're doing?
Cutting him down, Captain.
This is the last of the rope, Clemens. There's still one more to go. Just untie him. Pity sake, catch him before he falls into the river. Traitor or not, he deserves a decent burial.
Captain, the rope's looking pretty frayed. I'm not sure it'll take the weight of another prisoner.
It'll have to.
But, Captain...
I said it'll have to.
Yes, sir.
You have just witnessed a military execution. Death is a dignitary who, when he comes announced, is to be received with formal manifestations of respect, even by those most familiar with him. This particular execution occurred on Owl Creek Bridge in northern Alabama during the war between the states. You might find it in the works of that past master of the incredible Ambrose Bierce, but its proper home is in the Twilight Zone.
And now, the Twilight Zone and our story, An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, starring Christian Stolte, with Stacy Keach as your narrator.
Hurry up, Clemens. I want to get this last one hanged while it's still daylight.
Almost got him, Captain.
Your friends are dead, Peyton. That's your name, isn't it? Mr. Peyton Farquhar. Your act of treachery came to nothing, Peyton. And now you'll be called to account. I wouldn't recommend you think of doing anything as stupid as trying to get off this bridge. Apart from the fact that your wrists are tied behind your back, you'll find yourself more than adequately surrounded, whichever way you choose to run. See those sentinels at either end? Please don't get the impression they're just taking a rest. The way they're holding their rifles, they call that the support position. Means they're always at the ready. As a good soldier of the Federal Army should be. Don't say too much, do you? Huh? Peyton? Peyton Farquhar. Hello? Anybody at home? And here I thought you were a true Southern gentleman. I know what you're thinking, Peyton. That maybe you could make that 20-foot drop into the water. And who knows, maybe you're good at that. But after that, your chances for continued survival become pretty slim. Look over there on the bank of the stream. You know what that is? It's the muzzle of a cannon. You see, there's an outpost near here. If you really squint, you can see a company of infantry at parade rest. Think of them as spectators if you want. But if you sincerely want to swim for it, you might just as well be giving them target practice, which, believe me, they don't really need. You want to leave your wife a pretty-looking corpse, don't you? Still not in the mood for talking, huh? Well, I can understand that, time like this. A man needs to get his thoughts in order, ready himself for, you know. Perhaps I can help you with that. From a purely practical standpoint, I mean. I'm not a priest or anything like that. Truth to tell, my knowledge of matters theological doesn't amount to very much at all. But I can tell you a little bit about how it'll happen. Me and Clemens will escort you out to the center of the bridge, then introduce you to Captain Newman. He's a nice man. You'll like him. Me and Clemens salute the captain, then we stand behind him, leaving you face to face with the sergeant. Now, he's not such a nice man, sorry to say, but... Oh, I forgot. You two have already met. Well, when the moment comes, you'll both be standing on opposite ends of the same plank. He stands on the safe end, but you probably already guessed that. And you probably guessed that it's his job to hold the plank in place. Then, when the captain feels the time is right for him, not for you, he gives a signal to the sergeant. The sergeant steps aside, the plank tilts, and down you go. Nah, never having been hanged myself, I can't give you any information on what your final moments on this earth might feel like. But I can tell you, I've seen more than a few of these. And I'm sorry to have to tell you, it doesn't look any too pleasant. Anything to say about that? Well...
I am a living man.
How's that? Speak up, Peyton. If you got any famous last words, we should hear them. Otherwise, they won't be famous.
I am a living man!
Not for much longer. No, sir, not for much longer.
Captain says we're ready for him.
Hear that, Peyton? We're ready for you. They say the Lord hates a coward, so take my advice and try and face it with a smile.
Why do you have to do that, Levine?
Do what?
Taunt him like that.
He shouldn't expect anything better. This is war. He was on the wrong side.
The wrong side? Do you think he thinks that?
I don't give a damn what goes on inside his head. Neither should you, Clemens. And unless you want to end up with a noose around your neck, don't let anyone else hear you talking like that. Now, help me up with him.
Oh, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, my darling, what have I done? What have I done to you and the children? I promised you. Promised I'd come back. What is a man if he's not as good as his word? What am I?
Secure the noose.
The noose. If only I could free my hands. Perhaps I could throw off the noose. Perhaps I really could dive into the stream. I might evade the bullets, and if I swam vigorously enough, reach the bank, then take to the woods and get away. Get back home. Yes, home. And back to you, Elizabeth. Thank God home is outside their lines. My wife and little ones are still beyond the invaders' farthest advance. That pounding. What is causing that pounding? It's like the stroke of a blacksmith's hammer on the anvil. Is it distant, nearby, or both? Perhaps it's my death knell. Feels like a knife being thrust into my ear. Damn them, what's taking them so long? If you're gonna do it, just do it!
Sergeant, step away.
Too late. My God, it's too late. Oh, Elizabeth.
So, how much further is it?
What? Much further to where? Where am I?
You're home, Mr. Farquhar. How much further?
A little further. Yes, a little further. Just keep along this road. I'm sorry, I'm somewhat confused.
Hardly surprising. You've just woken up.
It usually takes me a good half hour and a stiff drink before I know my own name. Say, you wouldn't happen to have a stiff drink on you, would you?
I'm afraid not.
Too bad.
No, wait. I can't have been sleeping.
Why not?
Look at me, I'm walking. How could I fall asleep walking?
Horses fall asleep standing up.
But not walking.
Well, I don't know about you, but I've got to the end of plenty of days without the faintest idea what I've done. Of course, as I explained to you, Mr. Farquhar, I drink a bit.
You know my name?
Mm-hmm. You're Mr. Peyton Farquhar.
How do you know my name?
You told me.
I did.
Sure you did. Right after I found you on the bank of the river.
The bank?
The southern bank. When I discovered you, you were digging your fingers into the sand, throwing it over yourself in handfuls, and almost blessing it.
That doesn't sound like the sort of thing I'd do.
You don't remember?
No.
Well, it's what you did. You said it reminded you of diamonds, rubies, emeralds.
I said that?
I got the impression there was nothing beautiful you didn't think it resembled. Naturally, I was quite convinced at that moment that you were insane. No offense, sir.
Sounds like a very natural reaction. I would have come to the same conclusion.
And then you said something that captured my attention.
And what was that?
Still don't remember?
Please, refresh my memory.
You said, now let me think. This was all good stuff. I don't want to get it wrong. Oh, yes. You noted a definite order in the arrangement of the trees, that a strange roseate light shone through the spaces among their trunks, and the wind made in their branches the music of Aeolian harps. Well, sir, I've been from one end of this great land to the other, and I've met many madmen. Some of them confined for their own good, some of them elected to high office, but never a madman with such a poetic grasp of the language. That was when I knew you were just too interesting to leave where I found you.
I do remember.
Now it all comes back to you.
Not all of it, not yet. But I remember lying on the bank. I was so content there. More than I've ever been in my... Right then and there, I had no wish to perfect my escape. I was happy to remain in that enchanting spot until they recaptured me.
Recaptured, eh? You haven't mentioned that before. Of course, you haven't said much of anything since I found you. You're a man on the run, then.
Forgive me, Mr. I'm sorry I don't seem to be able to recall your name.
It'll come to you.
Well, no offense, sir, but I'm not sure it would be wise to tell you the details.
You're not a trusting man.
Of late, I've become somewhat disappointed in human nature. I'm not sure why.
This is a new world, Mr. Farquhar. It's understandable that you'd be cautious. But rest assured, I'm not what you might call political. But I do love a good story if you have one to tell.
My story? I have no story. I have a life.
A life that's become considerably more interesting of late, I'd venture to say. But beyond your name, I know nothing about you. What manner of man is Peyton Farquhar?
Why do you want to know?
The road I travel is long and lonely. I'm starved of intelligent conversation, and the only voice I ever hear is my own. Talking to oneself leads inevitably to madness. With you here as my temporary companion, I can stave off that unfortunate condition for at least another day.
I see. And tell me, sir, where are you headed?
Anywhere I'm welcome and nowhere I'm not. In short, nowhere in particular. So, you were telling me about yourself.
Very well. My name is...
Peyton Farquhar.
Peyton Farquhar. I'm a planner in these parts.
A planter, eh? Good to have land.
It is.
So I guess you have slaves.
Naturally.
No need to adopt that tone, Mr. Farquhar. I told you I'm not a political, just asking.
Well, as it happens, I am what you would call a political. The Farquhars are an old and highly respected Alabama family. I'm naturally an original secessionist and ardently devoted to the Southern cause.
Oh, your memory is reliable when it comes to the matter of who you are, if not where.
I suppose so.
And yet, if you'll forgive my temerity, for all your patriotic fervor, you clearly didn't take service with the gallant army of the South. May I ask why that was?
Circumstances of an imperious nature prevented me from doing so, but I assure you I chafed under the inglorious restraint, longing for the release of my energies, the larger life of the soldier, the opportunity for distinction.
And in good faith and without too much qualification, you assent to at least part of the dictum that all's fair in love and war.
Are you mocking me by any chance?
I would never, ever risk a fellow traveler's friendship for such a trivial gain. Please, continue, I beg of you. I imagine that the opportunity to serve your birthplace came at last, as it comes to all men in wartime.
It did. It was one evening, as I was sitting under the magnolia trees near the entrance to my grounds. I was with my wife, Elizabeth. The children were playing nearby. This is the life. It surely is, my dear. It surely is. Look at it. It's all so perfect. I tell you frankly, Elizabeth, if I should die this very moment, I'd die a happy man.
Peyton, darling, I wish you wouldn't say such ghoulish things. I can't bear the thought.
I have no fear, Elizabeth. I have no intention of passing away from sheer bliss. I just wanted to make the point that, well, that on such a beautiful evening as this, it's almost impossible to believe there is a war.
I wish there weren't.
But there must be.
Why, Peyton?
For them. For the sake of the children. They deserve the best future we can give them. Isn't that worth dying for?
I understand that, Peyton. I do. It's just that... I sometimes wonder if we couldn't... Peyton, look!
That soldier. He's one of ours.
Water. Please.
You're exhausted.
Peyton, should I fetch one of the slaves?
By no means. We'll take care of him ourselves. Get him some water, Elizabeth. Let me help you down, sir.
Oh, thank you.
You must be starved. Come inside, my man.
Oh, this is a splendid meal. Thank you.
Some more?
Alice, more cornbread.
No, please. This hospitality is far more than I deserve.
Nonsense. Nothing is too good for our brave boys. Tell me, Corporal, whose command are you with?
Colonel Tolliver, 13th North Carolina.
How are things at the front?
We hear so little down here.
I'm sorry to say things are not going so well. Not so well at all. The Yankees are repairing the railroads in preparation for another advance. They've reached the Owl Creek Bridge.
Owl Creek Bridge?
Yes, sir. They've put it in order and built a stockade on the north bank. I'm sure you know what that'll mean.
Yes. If they can run trains over the bridge, there'll be nothing to stop them. Damn those sons of... Forgive me, Elizabeth. You shouldn't be subjected to this manner of talk.
Peyton, I understand...
Go and see what's keeping Alice with the cornbread.
As you wish, my dear.
Something on your mind, sir?
Corporal, refresh my memory. It's about 30 miles to Owl Creek Bridge.
About that. Maybe even a little less.
And there's no force on this side of the creek?
Only a picket post a half-mile out, on the railroad, and a single sentinel at our end of the bridge.
Suppose a man, or perhaps several men, civilians and persons of intelligence, should elude the picket post and perhaps get the better of the sentinel. What could they accomplish?
Accomplish? Well, sir, I was there a month ago. I saw that the flood of last winter lodged a great quantity of driftwood against the wooden pier at this end of the bridge.
Driftwood, eh? It's dry now, exceedingly dry. If someone were to put a light to that driftwood, it'd burn like tow.
That it would, sir.
And that would mean the end of the Owl Creek Bridge.
I don't think the Yankees would care for that. Not one damn bit would they care for it.
And it goes without saying that such a conflagration would seriously hinder the northern effort.
Oh, it would. But you should know, sir, the commandant's issued an order declaring that any civilian caught interfering with the railroad, its bridges, tunnels, or trains will be summarily hanged. I've seen the order. It's posted everywhere.
Risk is a part of life, soldier. You face it every day.
I do. That I do.
And in my own small way, I've done what I can. No service is too humble to perform in the aid of the South. And should the opportunity present itself, no adventure would be too perilous to undertake if consistent with the character of a civilian who is at heart a soldier, of course.
Mr. Farquhar, you are a true son of the South, and a very brave gentleman.
Elizabeth, I have to go away.
Away? For how long, Peyton?
Probably just a couple of days.
Why?
Business. Larson will be going with me, maybe Zeller too. I don't know. I'll have to ask him.
Peyton, don't go. I don't want you to. The children need you.
It's for the sake of the children that I'm doing this, Elizabeth. Why can't you understand that?
I do understand. I really do, but I'm afraid... terrified of losing you.
If a man doesn't stand up for what he believes in, then we lose everything.
Just promise me one thing. Promise you'll come back to me.
I promise. And I'm a man who keeps his promises, my love.
Setting fire to the Owl Creek Bridge. Sounds like a most audacious plan.
It was.
I must confess, Mr. Farquhar, I'm a little confused.
How so?
You strike me as a competent and determined gentleman. I imagine whatever you want out of life, you get it.
That's fair to say. What of it?
Simply that I'm surprised your endeavor came to nothing.
And what makes you imagine that?
Your present predicament. The absence of your co-conspirators. Those marks upon your neck. And if someone had set the Owl Creek Bridge alight, I'm sure I would have noticed it in some way. Let me check. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and... Nope, no smoke.
You're a very thorough fellow. For a moment I thought you might know more of my situation than you let on.
From the way you talk, do I take it someone in your party betrayed you?
Not in my party. But you recall the corporal who appeared at my plantation?
Of course.
He was a federal scout.
Then you were deliberately entrapped.
It seems they wanted to weed out the civilians who might cause them some trouble. If I'd only stayed out a little longer that night, I'd probably have seen that same rider repass my plantation, going northward in the direction from which he'd come.
From the Owl Creek Bridge.
Precisely.
And when you and your co-conspirators...
Patriots.
...made your assault on the bridge, the military were waiting for you.
They made me watch as they hanged my friends for an act of treachery. The sergeant who put them to death was the same man who lured us there.
Is there no honor in conflict? I've never been accused of having much imagination, but I might have guessed it would be something like that. I would say, sir, that you have too kindly an expression for one whose neck is in the hemp.
It isn't.
Isn't what?
In the hemp.
Of course, of course. What I mean, Mr. Farquhar, is that you are clearly no vulgar assassin. Fortunately, the liberal military code makes provision for hanging many kinds of persons, and gentlemen are not excluded.
As they fastened the noose around my neck, I tried to fix my thoughts on my family, but there were so many trivial distractions. The water, touched to gold by the early sun, a piece of dancing driftwood caught in the sluggish current, the brooding mists under the banks some distance down the stream. Then there was a sharp pressure around my throat, followed by a sense of suffocation. Agony shot from my neck downward through every fiber of my body and limbs like streams of pulsating fire, heating me to an intolerable temperature. There was no more thought, only sensations. The intellectual part of my nature was effaced. I had power only to feel, and feeling was torment. I was conscious of motion, encompassed in a luminous cloud, of which I was now merely the fiery heart, without material substance. I swung through unthinkable arcs of oscillation, like a vast pendulum.
But you're here.
What? What?
I said, you're here. Why is that?
The rope, it snapped, and I fell into the stream. With a terrible suddenness, the light about me shot upward. There was a loud splash, then all was cold and dark. My power of thought was restored, and I knew instantly what had happened.
And your hands, were they still bound?
They were.
Then forgive me, but why didn't you drown?
The noose was tight around my neck. It kept the water from my lungs.
And kept you from breathing. When you get into a predicament, sir, you don't do it by half measures.
I suppose not. To die of hanging at the bottom of a river, even at that moment it seemed ludicrous to me. I opened my eyes in the darkness. I saw above me a gleam of light, distant, inaccessible. I was still sinking, and the light became fainter and fainter until it was a mere glimmer. Then it began to grow and brighten, and I knew I was rising toward the surface. Knew it with reluctance, for I was very comfortable.
Comfortable?
Oh, yes. It was a question of preference at that point, you see. To be hanged and drowned, that didn't seem so bad, but to be shot? No, I refused to be shot. It didn't seem fair.
I'd say you have a quite singular set of values.
Do they offend you?
Not at all, not at all. It makes for a more entertaining story, and yours is the most fascinating I've heard in many a year on the road. Please, continue. You're under the water, slowly rising to the surface. Your hands are tied.
A sharp pain in my wrists apprised me of the fact that I was trying to free my hands. I gave the struggle my attention as an idler might observe the feat of a juggler without interest in the outcome. Eventually, the cord fell away. My arms parted and floated upward, but I could only dimly make out my hands in the growing light. I watched with a new interest as first one and then the other pounced upon the noose at my neck. They tore it away and thrust it fiercely aside. Its undulations resembled those of a water snake, and my first thought was to put it back.
to put it back.
The undoing of the noose had been succeeded by the direst pang that I'd yet experienced. My neck ached horribly, my brain was on fire, my heart gave a great leap, and I felt as though it was trying to force itself out of my mouth. My whole body was racked and wrenched with an insupportable anguish.
And I imagine the desire to rise to the surface was even greater, no matter what you might find waiting for you there.
I wanted to stop myself, had to stop myself, but my disobedient hands gave no heed to my command. They beat the water vigorously with quick, downward strokes, forcing me to the surface. I felt my head emerge. My eyes were blinded by the sunlight. My chest expanded convulsively, and with a supreme and crowning agony, my lungs engulfed a great draught of air.
So now you were in full possession of your physical senses.
If anything, they were more keen and alert than before. I felt the ripples on my face, heard their separate sounds as they struck. I looked at the forest on the bank of the stream, saw the individual trees, the leaves, and the veining of each leaf, saw the very insects upon them, the locusts, the brilliant-bodied flies, the spiders stretching their webs from twig to twig, the prismatic colors in all the dewdrops on a million blades of grass, the humming of the gnats that danced above the eddies of the stream, the beating of the dragonflies' wings. They all made audible music.
Remarkable. If you'll forgive my saying so, you missed your life's calling. You have quite a turn for descriptive language. I'm surprised you had the time to note your surroundings in such detail.
It may only have been a few seconds, I'm not really sure. I seem to have lost the ability to judge the passage of time accurately.
Or perhaps you've gained a greater appreciation of time. There's a whole world in every second.
You have a singular turn of phrase yourself, Mr. I'll get it in a minute.
No doubt.
Did you acquire this philosophical outlook during your travels?
Hard to say. See, it often seems like I've been traveling my whole life. But enough about me. I long to hear your story. You've painted a beautiful background for me, but it strikes me there are more pressing issues in this particular picture. For example, your executioners.
My would-be executioners?
That goes without saying, surely.
Very well. I saw them, silhouetted against the blue sky. They shouted, they gesticulated. Their movements were grotesque and horrible, their forms gigantic. Suddenly, I heard a sharp report and something struck the water smartly within a few inches of my head, spattering my face with spray. One of the officers had his rifle. At his shoulder, there was a light cloud of blue smoke rising from the muzzle. I was surprised he missed. I read somewhere that marksmen with gray eyes are the keenest shots. This fellow was the exception to the rule, it seems.
The marksman had gray eyes?
Mm-hmm.
How could you see that?
I'm sorry?
He was on the Owl Creek Bridge. You were in the water. And you must have drifted some distance. So, how did you know the marksman had gray eyes?
I don't know how I know. I must have noticed it on the bridge.
Just before your execution?
My intended execution.
As you say.
Doubtless the detail was burned into my mind.
Doubtless.
I told you how much more alive my senses had become at that moment.
Alive. Yes, indeed. That you did.
At that moment, a counter-swirl turned me half around. I was looking into the forest on the bank opposite the fort. A clear, high voice rang out and came across the water with a distinctness that pierced and subdued all other sounds, even the beating of the ripples.
The voice, what did it say?
It said,
"Attention, company! Ready! Aim!"
How did you do that?
Run! Fire!
Are they still behind us?
No, I don't think so.
All right. That's enough for now. No more running for my life.
Your what?
Wait. I need to get my bearings. I have to know how close I am to my destination.
Closer than you think, I'm sure.
Eh?
Does anything look familiar, Mr. Farquhar?
Yes. This way. I think. Yes. This way.
Can you see your home?
Not yet. But it's not far now. I intend to be back in my wife's arms by close of day.
You gave her your word.
That I did.
And that's important to you.
It's a matter of honor. And honor, Mr. Honor means as much as love to a man of the South.
A very moving sentiment. Now, where were we?
Where were we with what?
Your story.
My story?
Yes. You were just reaching a most exciting point when we were interrupted. I long to know what happened next.
Are you quite insane, sir?
I don't believe so. But I thought the same of you when I first met you, so I suppose it's a fair question.
I am in full possession of all my faculties, Mr.
Everything except the memory, eh?
Don't try my patience, sir.
I wouldn't dream of it. You asked me an important question, and I'm doing my best to answer it. But you'll appreciate it's difficult to judge these things when one spends so much time alone. If I had a constant companion, someone to tell me if and when I appeared to be losing my senses, that might be helpful, but that's not what fate has in store for me. And as I say, I try to avoid talking to myself because that seems to me the fastest route to madness. But, mad or sane, I know a good tale when I hear it, and yours is the most entertaining I have heard in all my years. Yes, sir, I shall cherish the memory of your experiences when I have long since ceased my wanderings. Please, go on. You'd escaped the noose by a most improbable stroke of good fortune, and then you found yourself in the stream and under fire. What was that like?
Surely you can imagine that for yourself. We were just under fire a few minutes ago.
But not in the water.
Well, does it matter?
Does to me. It's the setting that makes the crucial difference. Please.
Very well. I suppose it might make the journey shorter, at least.
Not mine.
I dived to avoid the shots, dived as deeply as I could. Water roared in my ears like the voice of Niagara, yet still I heard the dulled thunder of the volley.
Those heightened senses of yours.
I rose again towards the surface and was met again by more shining Yankee lead. One shot nicked my cheek, do you see it?
I see it.
Well, the next time I dove, I was a long time underwater, and I made damn certain I swam farther downstream and nearer to safety. Just as well, since the soldiers had almost finished reloading. The two sentinels positioned at either end of the bridge fired again, independently and ineffectually. I saw all this over my shoulder. I was now swimming vigorously with the current. My brain was as energetic as my arms and legs. I thought with the rapidity of lightning. I reasoned, you see, that the captain had probably already given the command to fire at will.
And you surely couldn't dodge all the shots. You're not invulnerable.
No man is. Then an appalling splash, just 2 yards away, was followed by a loud, rushing sound which seemed to travel back through the air to the nearby fort and died in an explosion which stirred the very river to its deeps. A rising sheet of water curved over me, fell down upon me, blinded me, strangled me.
The cannon had taken a hand in the game.
Did I tell you about the cannon?
You must have done.
Well, anyways, as I shook my head free from the commotion of the smitten water, I heard the deflected shot humming through the air ahead. and in an instant, it was cracking and smashing the branches in the forest beyond. I was certain they wouldn't be so far from their target next time, and it was a good gun. The report lagged behind the missile.
But surely the smoke would have apprised you of another shot. So long as you kept your eye on the gun, you had a certain advantage. Am I correct?
You are? The problem was how to reach the shore without turning my back on the cannon.
You have my complete attention, sir. How did you manage it?
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. I felt myself whirled round and round, spinning like a top. The water, the banks, the forest, the distant bridge, fort, and soldiers, they were all somehow commingled, blurred. I could no longer make out objects, only colors. Circular, horizontal streaks of color. It was all I saw. I was caught in a vortex. I felt giddy and sick.
Fascinating. Incredible.
What is that damned hammering?
I don't hear anything. Unless it's the ticking of your watch you can hear.
My watch?
You're lucky it still works after such an immersion.
It is my watch. But why should I think...
Perhaps you're the sort of man who values the seconds as much as the minutes and the hours.
And there's a whole world in a second, so I've been told.
So how did you fight your way out of this vortex?
I really have no idea. The next thing I knew, I was on the road with you at my side, heading for home as I promised.
Surely not. I mean, you obviously avoided the cannon and struggled to the bank.
Obviously. But I have no memory of it.
And of our meeting?
I recall only what you told me about it.
Most curious.
Stop!
What is it?
This is it. We're here. This is the path to my home.
Excellent. Well, I suppose this is where we part company, Mr. Farquhar. May I say, it's been a rare pleasure.
You wouldn't care to come in? I'm sure the servants could prepare you a meal.
That won't be necessary, my friend. I have many miles still to travel. But your journey is almost at an end.
Yes. Well, goodbye, Mr. I'm sorry, I thought I could recall your name, but it just escapes me.
Call me Ambrose.
I wish you well, Ambrose.
And you, Mr. Peyton Farquhar. And you.
Home. Almost home. How long? How long since that damn imposter rode down this road? How long since I was drawn to the Owl Creek Bridge?
I would say, sir, that you have too kindly an expression for one whose neck is in the hem.
It is.
Isn't what?
In the hem.
Of course, of course.
I promised I'd return, Elizabeth.
All so perfect.
They couldn't keep me from
Just
you.
before your execution.
My intended execution.
As you say.
Not even a noose around my neck could stop me from coming back to you, to the family.
Yes, indeed.
I told you how much more alive my senses had become at that moment.
Alive.
Yes, indeed. Saw them.
John, don't tease your sister. I want you
Elizabeth!
both on your best behavior when your father returns.
Elizabeth! Elizabeth!
You're not invulnerable.
No man is. Elizabeth! Elizabeth! I swore I'd come back to you. I promised.
Peyton!
Elizabeth!
Peyton!
Elizabeth!
Peyton! Oh, Peyton!
Elizabeth, let me hold you. Let me take you in my...
There's a whole world in every second.
He's dead, Captain. Good work. That's the last execution for today. Get him down!
You know, Levine, for a moment there, I thought that rope wasn't gonna hold.
It's strong enough. It did its job.
Do you ever wonder what goes on inside a man's head in those last seconds before death?
Like I said before, Clemens, I don't give a damn. And neither should you.
An occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge in two forms, as it was dreamed and as it was lived and died. This is the stuff of fantasy, the thread of imagination, the ingredients of the Twilight Zone. There is a fifth dimension beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
Kirby.
Yes, Captain.
Give me the readings.
Course stable, 7.9 off vertical axis.
That's why I can't stand up straight.
Speed 2650, steady she goes.
How close are we to that asteroid?
In range, gravity detector starting to read. Say 100,000, give or take.
Piece of cake.
We still have to maneuver for a landing. Fuel supply.
Well, Captain, let me put it this way. If I was back home in my car, I'd pray for a steep hill so I could put her in neutral and coast all the way down.
That bad, huh?
I think the expression is running on fumes.
What's the terrain?
Spectrographics coming in.
And?
Not too hot, not too cold. Volcanic activity, 1 million or so years ago.
We are hitting atmosphere.
At least it's got an atmosphere.
How much oxygen?
I'm trying to get a reading.
Deceleration chairs.
Just a minute.
Now!
Better do it, Pete.
All right, Myers, I'm going.
Firing retro rockets.
The fuel tank's empty, Captain.
Anybody got a parachute?
Hang on.
Angle looks good.
Thank heaven for small favors.
The surface is coming up fast. I'll try to level her out. Nose up. Up!
Nobody say anything. I want to remember this magic moment.
Everything seems to be in one piece, except for the communications module. And it sounds like we damaged the tail assembly.
Instruments are still working.
How's the atmosphere?
Take a reading.
20.95 parts oxygen.
Yeah, right.
78.09 parts nitrogen.
That's impossible.
I don't get it. That's air.
Don't look a gift horse in the chops. Gravity?
1 unit to 0.99.
Are you sure?
See for yourself, Captain.
I don't believe it.
You got something better to believe, Myers?
But that's incredible. Conditions identical to Earth, and yet we're
655 million miles away from Earth. Let's get the airlock open.
Hold up, Pete.
What for? I'm sick of breathing recirculated air, eating freeze-dried tofu, and we're almost out of that.
The instruments could be wrong.
What's the difference? We aren't going anywhere for a while. We can't even radio for help till we fix the module.
The man has a point.
I suppose you're right. At least put on your helmets.
Forget it. If this is all she wrote, then I'm ready for it, one way or another.
I'm afraid I'm with Pete on this, Captain. Either we die now or we die later, starving to death like dogs.
All right, open it. Now, this isn't an order, but I'd recommend everyone take a very deep breath.
Time, the future. Place, a dark corner of the universe millions of miles from planet Earth. The main characters, 3 men. William Weber, captain. Peter Kirby, navigator. Carl Myers, geologist and science consultant. Each distinct from the others, but all sharing a common dilemma. They are lost. And like any long-haul explorers, they want to go home. Not their home necessarily, that would be too much to hope for. But at this point, any old port in a storm will do, especially for those who have veered off course and into the Twilight Zone.
And now, The Twilight Zone, and our story, Elegy, starring Blair Underwood, with Stacy Keach as your narrator.
Captain's notes. We made a rough landing, but no injuries. According to our instruments, the atmosphere is breathable, so we've opened the airlock. It's hard to believe, but the temperature is that of a spring day on Earth. And it smells clean.
Well, I'll be.
Get the ladder into position. Watch your step.
How many miles did you say we were from Earth?
Too many.
Time for a reality check. You see the same thing I see, Captain?
What do you see?
Open country, farmland. Kirby?
Affirmative. Acres of grass, trees. I grew up in a place like this, in the Midwest.
And those hills? They're settled granite, I'm sure. Eroded over thousands of years of wind, rain. I don't get it.
Neither do I.
Wait a minute. I do. Don't you see? We're back on Earth.
Come off it, Kirby.
I'm serious. The instruments are all screwed up. Some way or another. Don't ask me how. We got turned around, and now here we are, right back where we started. Oh, man. That is rich. Only one thing's missing. A brass band.
Maybe they forgot about us.
It's an interesting theory. Except for one thing. As far as I know, Earth has never had 2 suns in the sky.
You're right. But the temperature's perfect. That means they're smaller than our sun. Added together, they put out just enough energy to duplicate conditions on our own planet, including evolution.
And the people learned to build farmhouses exactly like ours.
What?
If that's not a barn over there painted red, then it's a pretty good imitation of one.
What in the name of...
Better check it out. Be careful, men. We don't know what we're dealing with yet.
What do you call this? A Martian?
I'd call it a hound dog. Hey there, boy.
How come he's not moving?
He's taking a nap in the shade. I don't blame him, do you?
What the heck is that?
By the barn, it's called a tractor. They were internal combustion vehicles used in the 20th and 21st centuries before the Total War.
So we are on Earth 300 years ago.
Negative. We're not equipped for time travel.
Okay, you explain it.
I can't. The only thing I know for sure is that we're not on Earth.
Mm-hmm. And we are not alone.
What do you... Hey! Hey, you over there, by the barn!
What's the matter? Can't he see us?
He's turned the other way. Looks like he's taking a rest.
Leaning on his...
It's a pitchfork. He was using it to load hay into the wagon.
Some outfit.
Overalls. Farmers wore them with straw hats, just like that one. He even has a red bandana in his back pocket.
Well, I suggest we ask him the way to the Emerald City.
Excuse me, sir. My name is Captain Weber. My men and I... Sir? Sir, I hate to bother you, but that's our ship over there. We've crash-landed. If you can tell us... Sir... Sir, can you hear me?
What's the matter with him?
Seems to be in some sort of trance.
Are his eyes open?
Yes, but...
Move your hand in front of his face.
Nothing. As if he's...
Don't touch him.
It's all right. His skin's warm, but there's no respiration. He seems to be frozen in place.
Well, let's move on.
Say that again. This is giving me the creeps.
We'll recon the surrounding area. There may be others.
Oh, now this is what I call a lake.
That's what anyone would call it, Pete.
Easy, easy. Be sure the bridge will hold.
Feels solid to me. We ought to take off these flight suits and jump in.
No, thanks.
Why not?
Well...
Go on, say it. You can't swim, can you?
Not as such.
Oh, the big scientist. Wait a minute. Maybe we can find some water wings for you.
Let's get a move on. We have a lot of ground to cover.
Back home, we had a swimming hole. Man, on a hot day, I thought I was in heaven. We'd go skinny dipping.
Right in all that pollution.
Nah, before the government closed the rivers. There were even fish in it. You could even see them jumping in the air. You ever go fishing, Captain?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did. In the mountains. The runoff from the snow was clean. Yeah, you could eat the fish if you wanted to and not get sick.
I don't see any fish in this water.
We better keep moving. We don't know when the suns go down. We should be back at the ship before dark, just to be safe.
Good point.
Maybe they don't have fish here.
That's a possibility, if the planet's evolution took a different turn.
Hey, there's somebody.
I don't see anything.
On the opposite bank, clad shirt. See him? Sitting there with a fishing pole? Hey, mister! Hey, mister!
Kirby's right. Folding chair, wicker basket, the whole setup. Looks like the guy's got it made.
Let's hope this one talks to strangers.
Hi there, fella. How's it going? Fish biting today? Mum's the word, huh?
Let me try. Sorry to bother you, sir, but you might say we're lost. If you could give us directions to the nearest town.
Don't waste your breath. This one's a stiff, too.
Maybe he's asleep.
If he is, he's done well for himself. This basket is called a creel, and it's full of fish. Quite a haul.
Fresh?
Smells like it.
Hold on. Is that a bottle of beer next to him?
It is indeed. Only, it's empty.
Well, where's he got the cold one stashed? Fella, can you hear us? Do you even know we're here?
Can't see his face.
Lift up the brim of his hat.
Okay, here goes. Sorry, nothing personal. I just like to look a man in the eye when I talk to him, even if he doesn't talk back.
What did you do?
Nothing, just barely touched him and he fell over.
Well, at least we know he's not a statue. No pulse, like the farmer. But his skin feels real.
Sit him up again, exactly the way we found him.
I get it.
Get what?
He's off the clock.
Way off.
What's that supposed to mean?
Pete and I used to joke about it in flight school. Now, there are 24 hours in a day, but sometimes that's not enough.
You're not kidding.
All my life, I've wanted extra time to read a book, write a novel.
Or go fishing, spend some time in the country, meet a girl and get married, or just take a nap for crying out loud. But I was too busy. We all were. So the only answer is to fit some extra hours into the day. Hours that don't show up on the clock. That don't count.
I don't see...
Look at it like this. What if you could stop time? For a few minutes or a few hours? At least as far as everybody else is concerned. Think of what you could do. They stand there, frozen, while you run off and do whatever it is you need to do. Then, when you're finished, you run back and time starts again. They move and walk and talk and go on with what they were saying, and they never so much as know you were gone.
Is that a plan or what?
I wish we could have done something like that on the ship. If I'd had time for pure, uninterrupted thought, I might have, I don't know, perfected Sheldrake's theory of causative formation while the ship ran itself.
That's right, and get home to find you've won your own Nobel, right? Now, we make planetfall, and we run into these people, if that's what they are, and it's as if we've finally done exactly that, taken ourselves off the clock, at least temporarily.
Permanently would be fine by me.
Nice theory, Captain. I'm afraid there are reasons, though, why it wouldn't work.
I am sure there are. It's just a thought. If I were a science fiction writer, I could have some fun with it. But we've got more important things to do, like finding out what options we have, now that we're here.
Say, I'm hearing things.
I hear it, too. Seems to be coming from the top of the ridge beyond that grove of trees.
That must be where the town is. We were close after all. Sounds like you got your brass band, Pete.
I like it. Maybe they got a ticker tape parade, too.
One way to find out. Captain's Journal. We appear to be on the main street of a Midwestern American town. Ahead of us is the square, complete with steeple, clock, and ivy-covered walls.
Captain, did you notice?
What's that?
There are no hands on the clock.
Duly noted. The music's louder. I hope this recorder can pick it up. Sounds like a Sousa march. There's a bandstand, flags, bunting, and a sign that says, Inauguration Ceremony. Welcome, Mayor Finch. The musicians are all in uniform.
Just one thing. They're not really playing.
Kirby's right. Nobody's moving. Not even Mayor Finch. He's holding a silk hat. Photographers in front of the crowd about to take his picture, but nothing's happening. It's like a movie set with 100 extras all waiting for someone to yell action.
The question is, who's directing?
I'm going to look around. Weber, out.
The music's coming from that loudspeaker near the platform. It's being piped in from somewhere. Pre-recorded, no doubt.
Concert's over.
I wonder who turned it off. Any ideas, Professor?
Well, I suppose it could all be part of a carefully orchestrated illusion.
That's as good an explanation as any. Now, maybe we're being made to see and hear what we hoped we'd find here. The sights and sounds of home. But they got it wrong. It's 300 years before our time.
Who's they?
Or it could be that time itself is somehow suspended in this place.
So we really are off the clock.
It's all relative. Time may have, in a sense, speeded up for us or slowed down for them.
You mean they might actually be moving?
It's possible.
Why can't we see it?
You can't see the movement of a clock's hands. Nevertheless, they move.
Yeah, when there are hands.
Do you believe what you're saying?
Of course not.
Hey, everybody. Sir, ma'am, what's the matter with you people? Are we invisible or something?
Don't take it personally. By the looks of them, they don't see anything.
They might as well be statues.
But they're not statues. Here, feel one. You, sir, shake hands with the captain. See what I mean? They feel like flesh and blood.
Yeah, Kirby's right. More of the same.
Whoever, or whatever, is responsible, they've created a perfect imitation of the real thing all over this asteroid.
For what purpose?
I don't have a clue. The expenditure of time and effort is considerable. Not to mention the science involved. The skin on these pseudo-people must be a new polymer compound. And the clothing, all duplications of Earth fabrics.
I wonder... never mind.
Say it.
Well, we must not be the first to land here.
But this asteroid's not on the charts.
Then, who were they modeled after?
Maybe somebody real is still here.
Where?
Could be anywhere. The streets, the buildings. I say we separate. We'll meet back here in an hour.
Well, it's better than huddling together like frightened children.
All right. Pete, you go that way. Carl, see where the street leads and take some readings while you're at it.
All right.
I'll cover the buildings along this side, starting with the hotel. Remember, 1 hour. Are your watches set?
Yeah.
Yes. Don't ask me what to set it to, though. Earth time or something else entirely.
Captain's notes. The awning says the hotel is called the Ritz Arms. Kind of quaint. It would be considered ritzy, I guess, in a small town. Glass front. Nothing moving inside that I can see. I should have brought the Visicam to record this. There's a clerk behind the desk, not moving, of course. And this is classic. There's an alcove off to one side. I can see 4 men seated around a table. A green lampshade, money. I think they're playing poker. Or they were before they stopped moving. And there's a waitress with a tray full of drinks. The big winner seems to be a little man with a gray mustache. Not your typical gambler, but he's all set to rake in the chips. He looks mighty happy. Hey, fella. Wonder what cards he's got here. I don't think he'll mind if I take a peek. 4 big, beautiful aces. Nice work. Oh, hold on. If I'm not mistaken, that's a waltz coming from upstairs. Music seems to be in one of the rooms. Hello? Hello? Anybody here? Oh, sorry. Excuse me. This room is definitely occupied. There's a candlelit table, I see an ice bucket, and a bottle of champagne. The music is canned. The couple is posed in a slow dance. She has a rose in her teeth, and he's got her bent back in a dip, kissing her throat. But what is she doing with him? A short, ugly man. Looks like he's never had a girlfriend in his life. But she's a real beauty. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm beginning to see a pattern. The theme seems to be dreams really can come true. But whose dreams? Who's fulfilling them? For what purpose? Weber out. For now. Find anything?
Nope, at least nothing that moves.
Pete?
Not really, except for...
What?
You guys better see this for yourselves. Come with me.
Where is it?
Just around the corner. You're not going to believe this, but I think it's what they called a carnival.
That's what it is, all right. The Midway. Those booths along either side, people could win various trinkets of low value by throwing baseballs at steel milk bottles or firing toy rifles at targets.
I was wondering.
A test of skill, for amusement. Also the urge to gamble for those with a predilection for obsessive-compulsive behavior.
What's in the tent?
Oh, just some men in swimming trunks.
Win $500, go 2 rounds with Tiger Loomis. Oh.
It's not a real tiger.
No kidding, genius.
Let's have a look inside.
That must be Tiger with the stripes on his trunks.
Yeah, the one lying down in the ring.
Boy, some crowd, huh? Almost as many as the town hall, complete with sound effects.
2 pugilists, duking it out, as they say. A primitive display of testosterone poisoning.
Check out the other guy with his hand raised. That, my friends, is what's known as a potbelly.
Yes, but why?
Too many carbohydrates, not enough exercise, plus a certain genetic predisposition.
But why would he be the one who wins?
Must have been a lucky punch. Looks like old Tiger's down for the count.
Interesting.
I think it's creepy. All these imitation people posed every which way.
What do we have over there?
I believe it's called a sideshow. Scantily clad young ladies who dance for the crowd, which is primarily male.
That's nothing. Check out the stage at the end. See? I was saving the best for last. Get an eyeful of this.
Some sort of contest, a sign.
Beauty queen chosen today.
Step right up, gents. You got your blondes, your brunettes, your redheads, your tall ones, your short, stubby ones. Take your pick.
I'd say the judges have already made their selection.
Cast your eyes on Miss Lakewood County. Some bathing suit, huh?
Mm-hmm. It was called a bikini, after the location of the first atom bomb test.
Of course, if you like them a little more curvy, there's always Miss Midvale. A little on the hefty side for me. Personally, I like Miss Vernon County in the strapless white two-piece.
And they all lost.
Kind of breaks your heart, don't it?
The one they've chosen with the ribbon and the crown.
Miss Wanda Bertolini from Stockton, California.
A little long in the tooth, isn't she?
39 if she's a day. Freckles, frizzy hair, the whole bit.
And yet, she's won against all those beauties.
There ain't no accounting for taste.
Perhaps the competition was rigged.
Yes. But why?
Your Majesty, my compliments to the judges. I don't blame them. They think you're the prettiest one of all. Wear it with pride, but tell me something, Your Majesty. What's wrong with you? I mean, you can't even move a muscle, like everybody else in this crazy asteroid. Answer me. Go on. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Answer me.
Easy, Pete.
Ah, you can have it. Everything about this place is nuts.
Where are you going? Wait! Now, Pete, don't let it get to you. None of us knows what's going on. But until we figure it out...
I'm sorry, all right? But you know how long we've been on that ship? Now we sit down and what do we find?
We all feel the same way.
Sure we do. But it's like somebody's trying to trick us into something or drive us batty. Something that doesn't even think like us. But it's got our number. Oh, yeah. Let me tell you.
You've got to pull yourself together.
I'm pulling, all right? But if we just had some idea, some clue about what the deal is here in this crummy place.
How are you fixed for ideas, Carl?
I don't really have a theory yet. Of course, it's highly improbable, but...
So is the fact that we're here. Come on. Any theory is better than none.
Well, I've begun to think that all of this... it just might be some sort of museum.
Come again, Professor?
We're millions of miles from Earth. It's possible that the inhabitants of this planet, whoever they are or were, developed a very advanced technology. Let's say they had a super powerful scanning device based on some new principle. Over the years, they observed Earth and decided to build replicas of what they observed. Perhaps they even took specimens to use as models.
That would explain the accounts of alien abductions.
If that's true, where are these inhabitants now?
Gone, perhaps, having moved on and left all this behind.
They could be in hiding.
Then we'd better explore the rest of it. Or as much as we can in one day.
At least they had taste. Take the residential street we're on now. It's right out of the late 19th century. Old-growth trees, Victorian houses.
Why this era?
Why any of it? It must have interested them. Though for what practical purpose, I can't imagine.
Maybe just to please themselves. This is the way it was on Earth a few centuries ago. I've seen pictures, the streets, the houses, everything laid out so peacefully.
You guys like it here?
I would, if I knew it was real. If I could be sure it wasn't all going to vanish in a puff of pink smoke.
It's an okay place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live here.
Well, you better get used to it. This is going to be home for a while.
Charming.
Which one?
The largest house, there across the street.
Well, that one's a mansion.
Isn't it lovely? Think of the freedom, the space to move about.
You want it, it's yours.
Yes. That's true, isn't it?
Why not? I don't think anyone will mind. Least of all the old fella in the chair on the porch.
Another stiff.
It's actually quite realistic, the way they've got him sitting there reading the paper. What's the date on the front page?
Hey there, old-timer. You don't care if we look around, do you? Check out the inside.
Not at all, gentlemen. You are most welcome.
Jeez Louise! He talks!
Forgive us, sir.
You all look as though you've seen a ghost.
We assumed that you were like the others.
Oh, no.
I'm Captain Weber.
The name is Wickwire. Jeremy Wickwire.
Ah, a pleasure. Peter Kirby, my navigator.
Hi.
Carl Myers.
How do you do?
Can't believe you're real.
Isn't everybody?
We used to think so.
Not around here.
Oh, the others are nothing to be afraid of. Really, they're not.
We have so many questions. I don't know where to start.
We can talk inside. Some tea, perhaps. Please, gentlemen, won't you come in? One lump or two?
Oh, don't go to any trouble. It's better than what we're used to. Believe me.
I don't know about you, Captain, but I must have my tea this time of day. I wouldn't feel complete without it.
Oh, it tastes great. Nice and hot. Beats the heck out of that tang.
I'll say. A remarkable collection of artifacts you have here.
Artifacts?
The oriental rugs, the tapestries, all this furniture. I've never seen anything to compare.
It provides a certain level of comfort.
Must have cost you a fortune.
Oh, not me personally. We had it built for a Mr. Let me see, Jenkinson, I believe it was.
You mean the pieces aren't antiques?
Oh, heavens no. They were made to the client's specifications. At the last moment, however, he changed his mind, decided he really wanted to be a knight in shining armor. So now he's over in the medieval section, slaying a dragon.
Then there's more that we haven't seen.
Dear me, yes, we have many sections. Rome, Egypt, the Wild West. But the one we're in right now is very popular. It represents a period when creature comforts were most abundant, before peace in the world became impossible.
By the world, you mean?
Earth.
Mr.
Wickwire.
I don't know where to begin. You see, we are from Earth.
Yes, of course.
We were on a routine geological flight in search of ore to be mined. We ran into a meteor storm and, well, it knocked out some of our equipment and put us off course. That was 6 months ago.
Really? That long?
Feels a lot longer, believe me.
Please, go on.
We saw this asteroid and landed as well as we could. But there's no more fuel. We're going to have to stay here until we can repair the communications module and signal for help.
They'll think our ship was destroyed without an SOS beacon.
I see. Then you're not from the Glades.
The what?
I've been expecting them. I'm due for a delivery.
From Earth?
May I ask a question about the Earth? Did they, by any chance, have that atomic war?
Not as such. A cluster of smaller wars almost simultaneously.
Most of the Earth's surface was destroyed. We're still picking up the pieces.
Oh, dear me, that is bad news. More tea, gentlemen.
Mr. Wickwire, explain some things to us before we go out of our minds.
Certainly, but you do look hungry.
And you can say that again.
Let me fix us a light lunch first, Then we'll talk.
No, Mr. Wickwire. Explain some things to us before we go out of our minds.
If you like.
Where are we?
Why, you're in a memorial park.
A memorial?
More commonly known as a cemetery. Didn't you know? Please, make yourselves at home. I'll be back in no time.
Did he say cemetery?
Well, at least we know more than we did.
You act like nothing's happened.
Nothing has happened yet.
Just give it time.
What would you suggest we do?
I'd suggest that you...
Settle down, fellas. Getting upset isn't going to help.
Help who? There isn't anybody to help us. That old man's off his rocker. This place is some kind of loony bin.
Shut up and sit down.
Yeah, well, I tell you, I don't like it. We're sitting around having tea, and we don't even know where we are.
It doesn't make any difference where we are. This is where we're going to stay until we can send a distress signal. Unless he happens to have some rocket fuel and a tail fin assembly lying around. So for now, all we can do is make the best of it.
Yeah, we don't have to like it, do we?
Be patient. Everything will be explained, I'm sure.
You mean you trust that guy?
A little more trust might have saved our world, Pete.
I say something about him is screwy. What's he so happy and well-adjusted about?
Well, look at the way he lives. He's got everything he wants, even if it is a reproduction.
Quiet. Here he comes.
I've brought some sandwiches and a bottle of wine. I trust we'll make quick work of it.
You can say that again. I haven't had a drink in I don't know how long.
And after that, coffee. It's brewing now. Meanwhile, a glass for each of us. Do you mind if I pour?
Very kind of you, Mr. Wickwire.
May I propose a toast?
Please.
To peace, my friends. Eternal, everlasting peace.
I'll drink to that.
We all will.
Excellent wine.
Glad you like it. This is a special occasion. I thought it was worth opening a bottle.
Liebfraumilch, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
Mr. Wickwire, we're still a bit confused. You said we were in a cemetery. What did you mean?
Mean?
Yeah, why would there be a cemetery here?
Perhaps you could elaborate.
Certainly. But before I explain the details, you must give me some information.
If you like.
If your dearest wish could be granted, what would it be?
I'm not sure I understand.
What would you like to be doing most? Where would you choose to be right now?
That's easy. Back on the ship, headed for home.
And you, Captain?
I'll go along with that.
So will I.
Splendid. Oh, one other thing. When you left Earth, what was the date?
September?
No. The year.
2280.
Really? 2280? When you arrived, I thought you were the men from Happy Glades, but you couldn't be.
We're still not following you. What's Happy Glades?
The world's greatest mortuary. At least, it used to be. The management hit upon this scheme as a service to the few who could afford it.
The scheme being...
Why, this little asteroid. Moriarty bought it and paid well to keep it off the maps.
For what reason?
Simple, really. You see, the plan was to recreate conditions in which the dearly departed would be most happy. A favorite setting, a desired event. For example, if one had always wanted to be elected mayor, he'd achieve his ambition here for all eternity.
So those people outside, they're all...
Oh, not all of them. Just the select few. The rest are imitations. Simulacra, we call them, for effect.
In other words, this is the place where your dreams come true after you've stopped dreaming.
Yes, that might be a way of putting it. Very good.
But a cemetery in the middle of space? Your boss, Moriarty, he could have bought a piece of property anywhere in the desert, say, away from everything.
Oh, no. You don't understand at all. Happy Glades promises eternal peace, everlasting peace. You couldn't have that on Earth, now could you? Especially with the wars you've described.
He has a point.
Let's finish the wine, shall we? It doesn't keep well once it's opened.
Thank you.
Cheers. Would you like some music?
What kind?
A somewhat limited repertoire, but there are all kinds of pieces for the player piano, popular, classical.
Classical might be nice.
Ah, yes. Something soothing to fit the mood. Mozart or Brahms.
A good choice.
I thought so. Drink up, gentlemen, before I bring the coffee. Unless you'd like something more to eat. I have some tea cakes in the kitchen.
What about you?
Me?
Yes. How do you fit in?
Why, I'm the caretaker. It's my job to make sure that our guests are not disturbed.
This mortuary, or whatever it is, when was it built?
Let me see. The year was 2177, I believe.
It's almost 100 years ago. That makes you a little on the elderly side, doesn't it, Mr. Wickwire?
Oh, you force me to an embarrassing admission. You see, I'm not actually human. When you're gone, I'll go back to sleep, as it were, until I'm needed again. I go on and off, like a machine. You understand now?
Sure. Nothing complicated about that. He goes on and off.
I've apparently been turned off for several decades.
One thing, Mr. Wickwire, we're not going anywhere. We can't. We're staying here, at least for the time being.
Yes, I know.
You said something about when we're gone.
Oh, a figure of speech, Captain. I meant departed. Gone on, as it were.
Jim, you know what he's saying.
What's the matter, Carl? You're pale. And you're perspiring. What in the...
Something wrong with the wine. The old man. He didn't drink any of his.
You're right. Why? Why didn't you, Wickwire?
I told you not to trust him. I told you. Oh, he's poisoned us.
We meant you no harm.
I realize that, and I'm sorry. Truly I am.
Give us the antidote. Give us the antidote.
There is no antidote, Captain. Even now, the eternifying fluid is coursing through your veins. It won't be painful, I assure you.
Oh, please. You've got to stop it.
Oh, my dear friends, can't you understand? I have no control in these matters. I'm only a machine.
But why? Why us?
Because you're here and you're men. And while there are men, there can be no peace. Surely you've seen ample evidence of that on Earth.
What are you going to do with us?
There are several possibilities, but as you said, your preference is to be on your ship. So be it. I'll move you there and arrange you in your natural habitat. And every day for a while I'll come by and check on the display, your poses, the instruments, and other details, and I'll touch them up if need be with a feather duster so that the scene is absolutely perfect before I retire to this house and turn myself off until the next ship arrives. I trust it will be a dream come true for you. It will, won't it?
For the love of God, Wickwire. For the love of God.
You'll excuse me now, but I must make ready. Oh, and gentlemen, I do most sincerely wish that you rest in peace.
Captain. Goodbye, Captain.
Easy, Carl. Easy, Carl. Don't fight it. It'll only work faster.
Bill. I'm scared.
Try not to be beat. I'll be with you. Be back on the ship soon. For all eternity. See you over there.
Captain Weber, his navigator Kirby, and Meyer, the geologist, on their last voyage. And now, at their journey's end. All agreed what they wanted most was to be aboard their ship, ready to head home. Now they will have that wish forever. Unfortunately, it's a wish that can only come true in the Twilight Zone.